All right, we are live, everybody. So happy Friday, or in this case, Good Friday. I hope you guys are doing really well. We're going to try something here a little bit different with our live streaming. We're utilizing a service, as you can see, hopefully in the lower, wrong way, lower right-hand corner there. It says light stream. We're utilizing this to go ahead and do our Facebook Live because apparently, at least from what I'm getting, some of you may have a different experience out there, but with some new updates that Facebook has done, the live stream isn't working as well as it's been in the past. So hopefully you guys are hearing me well and we're not getting any glitchy or pausing. Go ahead and let me know. Give me like a like if you can hear me, or you can give me a sad face if you have no idea what I'm even talking about. But anyway, I just want to go ahead and say, again, happy Friday. It is Good Friday. And I don't know about you, but this week, these past couple of weeks have been making me feel more and more like that old game, that old video game called Pole Position. I don't know if you've seen this. Go ahead and leave a comment down there in the comment section and let me know that I'm not the only one that's played this game in the past. But it just, the weeks and the Fridays especially kind of feel like those checkpoints that you go through. You're going through and racing, you're trying to get through the whole track there, and you have these checkpoints that allow you to get some extra time or fuel, we'll call it. And there was times when I'd be playing that game and I'm just barely right there, and I'm like leaning forward, holding the controller and leaning forward, trying to get my car, which absolutely, doesn't work, doesn't do a dang bit of good. At least back then it didn't. And just trying to get across that line. And as soon as I did, it added me more time, and boom, I was ready to go again. And yeah, getting to Fridays has kind of felt like that lately, a lot more so. And so if you can relate, give me a thumbs up. If you have no clue, again, ask a question in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible on that. But today I wanted to go ahead and hopefully chat to you a little bit about, what kind of value or why having a house cleaning service is valuable. And I don't know, just this time, this era, I guess you would call it, that we're in right now, the importance of good hygiene and cleanliness definitely has been brought to the forefront of most people's minds. And that's kind of where we come in as a house cleaning service, because let's face it, there's so much going on right now that everybody's getting hit with so much information that it can be very overwhelming and seem difficult to process. And that's what a great professional house cleaning service will do for you, is they just take that information and they dissect it and they analyze it and they figure out ways to apply that for you in either your business, your offices, or for commercial settings, or for your home. And they help to sort through all that information because you've got a lot going on right now. And just normally, some of the things we've heard, recently, is there's a lot of more people that are staying home, that are in their houses a lot more than they've been. And, because of the schools shutting down and things like that, people that would not normally have been, doing the majority of the education for their kids have been kind of pushed into this role of being the teacher, which many of them are not used to. And so between that and trying to run the whole household in this new format, it's sucking up their bandwidth. And they're finding themselves more exhausted now when they're at home, and they should have more time to do a lot of things like keeping the house clean. And it's just not that way. And I think that's because it's so easy to forget what something takes, or not only what it takes to actually get it done in the steps and stuff, but the mental and physical energy it takes. We were taking care of a recent client's home, and one of the problems that they're dealing with is that their house is in such chaos a lot of the time that just getting to the point of actually being able to take care of the cleanliness part, once they get the other stuff out of the way, there's just no energy. They're drained, and it's just like, okay, I don't even want to finish this. And unfortunately, what I've seen too in this business is that people get to that point where they're like, I really need to take care of my home, and they just don't have the desire to do it because they know that, one, they've got to get everything ready they've got to declutter, get things organized. And by that time, they're looking at the idea of actually having to now take care of the cleanliness part of it, and they just don't want to do it. So a lot of times nothing gets done. So for us, one of the values that we try to bring is the fact that, we're not attached to that situation. So there's some benefit in not being immersed in it all day and having, your home around us. And you know how it is, you see the same things day in and out, and it just drains you. And so because we're not part of that, we can get in there and we can get to work real quickly, and we can make sure that we're providing not only the cleanliness level, but we're also making sure that we're taking care of things that need to be sanitized and disinfecting, especially right now, those areas that are very high touch and important to do. And there's so much of those things that, it's a never changing industry where there's things that we didn't know, like in this case, weeks ago, that we need to be implementing now. And that's where your professional house cleaning service comes in. And we make sure we're listening to these things and learning that so that you don't have to. And we're not getting stressed out over it because of, there's just all these other things. Need to make dinner, need to make sure the kids are taken care of. What are we doing about this? When are we going to go to the store, because we don't want to go to the store that often. There's all these little elements that are creeping into people's lives. And the value that a great house cleaning service brings is that they are not encumbered by all that, so that they can focus on making sure your home's taken care of. One of the things we had here recently was we send out these quality surveys after every visit that we do for people, and it allows them on a 5-star rating to rank, how they felt about their service that day. And one we've got recently, somebody we took care of back at the beginning of the month, simply said, it's always nice to come home to a clean house, especially with all the stress of these strange times we're living in. It's nice to have one less worry. Thank you. And that's what we got from a lady named Jody, lives in Meridian. And that's kind of the value we bring, is we want to take that stress off of you, because there's just so much going on, and it's a lot for you to have to remember and make sure, like, did I do this, did I do that, did I do it right? A professional house cleaning service, they take that stress on for you, and they allow you to focus on these other things and have one less thing to stress about. It also provides you the value of making sure that you have your time, because let's face it, everything we do is some form of a cost. I want to say cost analysis. That's not it. No, it's an exchange. I will think about this in a minute. Dag blam it. You get on these live videos and you're like, okay, I had it in my head and just out the other window. But it's a trade-off, And so if you're going to do one thing, you by virtue of it, you can't do something else. And so we cannot keep piling on our plates more and more things to do. And we're seeing right now, with everything that's going on, the importance of making sure that we keep our places where we live, where we work. We want to make sure that those are clean, and not only just surface clean, which is just taking care of what we see. Most of us do a fairly decent job of that, but it's making sure that the bacteria and the viruses in those areas where it is important to make sure they don't build up or we don't have them, that those are taken care of in the most efficient and effective manner. And that's where a good professional cleaning service, they learn these things. They are part of organizations that are up to date with the latest information and technology and techniques and everything that it requires to make sure your home is not only clean, but it's healthy. And so that's what I want to make sure when you're looking at a house cleaning service, because I truly believe, one, this stuff is going to be over here. We're not going to be stuck in our homes for the rest of our lives. And that as people are getting back out in the world and we're starting to open up our doors, so to speak, we're going to be more and more understanding of the importance and the value of making sure that our homes are not only clean, but they are healthy. And part of that comes from, and a good chunk of it comes from, is the knowledge of how to properly sanitize, disinfect, and inactivate these viruses and kill these bacteria in a way that allows you to, one, not have to worry about high toxic stuff in your home, spending the time to deal with that, so that you're not taking that you're taking time away from, things that are more important to you to make sure this happens, because let's face it, keeping a clean, healthy home is valuable, but so is spending time with your kids. So is, working on a hobby that you enjoy, or maybe you're going through school and you're trying to get that degree, and you're also working your side job, or you're working a job of any kind, and you've got a family, and there's just like all these things coming at you, and like, you need to clean, and it's important, but so is this other stuff, and we don't want you to have to choose between that. It's the same reason that so many of us have walked away from agricultural stuff. We're not, raising all of our fruits, our vegetables, our animals. We don't have all this stuff. I mean, yeah, there's definitely some. My family, we're starting to grow some vegetables out, but it's just not enough to sustain ourselves without the help of going to the store. And so in essence, we have outsourced our food supply chains to those people around us, and we trust them to take on that responsibility and the stress and everything else that comes with it, so that we can focus on other things. And it's just, I really see that's how it is in our lives, is that we're always looking at just how to trade off those different areas of our lives so that we can focus more on other things that are more important without losing that. And so I hope that if you have any questions and you're like, okay, well, how does this apply to my life? Or maybe you're thinking about, as soon as they call off these stay-at-home orders and everything, and you're more apt to have somebody come in your home, that you really consider the value that a house cleaning service brings to you, and not just simply because cleaning, because let's face it, a really good professional cleaning service is not just a house cleaner. Let me repeat that. They are not just a house cleaner, as in anybody could do this. These are people that are dedicated to making sure they're providing you a safe, healthy environment so that you can live your life and not stress over all that stuff, and be able to free up your time so that you can do more with it and continue on that, so that you can give back to your community around you, and you can, do those things that excite you. Versus trying to clean your home. So hopefully, this has been informative. Again, I'm always trying to make sure I'm informing, educating, and entertaining. Hopefully you've kind of gotten that. Maybe it's just because I tend to repeat myself on certain things and say the words that I know a lot of people would say. Don't repeat that, especially if you're doing public speaking. Don't say, like, yo, dude. Anyway, or maybe you're just like laughing at the beard. I mean, this is because, the whole lockdown. No, just kidding. I just like to grow out my beard. Well, again, I'd love to hear from you guys. Talk to me about what you would be interested in hearing about. I know that there's so much focus on this whole coronavirus and what's going on about that. And so I don't want to, eat up all of our time with just more and more information about that. So I'd love to hear from you what it is you find valuable, what it is might be valuable to you. If you've got any comments, go and leave them down there. I'd love to hear from you folks. But this weekend now it's Easter weekend. It's going to be a completely different Easter weekend than we've had as far as any of us can ever remember. I hope that whatever you do, you find a way to celebrate with your family. You enjoy your time. You don't let this whole situation we've got going on around you drag you down. And if it does, find some way to go ahead and just increase those endorphins. Get out, go for a walk. We're still encouraged to do that. Get out and go for a walk. Call up your friends. I mean, this is such a great time, one of the things you guys may not know about it, and I know I'm kind of talking a little bit more here, but I'm really excited to share, is that I'm really a techie kind of person. I love technology. And this day and age, for us to be having to deal with this, I mean, think about it. If we had to deal with this 100 years ago, the ramifications and the situation would be completely different. And I know some people are probably thinking about the Spanish the Spanish flu. I'm thinking I'm getting mixed up with the swine flu. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, but if we were going back 100 years ago, we didn't have this ability to be able to reach out to our friends, our family, via all these video chats that we have out there. And there's things like YouTube, and there's Facebook, and there's Google Hangouts, there's Zoom. I mean, look, so many of our kids are at home, and they're utilizing things like Zoom and other teleconferencing video things that just the technology is so much better now. So I really encourage you this Easter to utilize that. I know that there's a lot of churches that are going to be broadcasting their services, so check those out. My family, we attend Grace Bible Church here in Napa when they're not closed. So, but I know that they like to do videos, and I know that there's a lot of other great places out there. So I encourage you to check those out. And, even if you can just simply wave to your neighbor across the street and say, Happy Easter, something just to celebrate and enjoy the time, whatever your spiritual background is or anything, just take this moment to find some joy, because I really think that's important. As much as, keeping your house clean and healthy and sanitizing and just that whole environment, there's also what I believe is the cleaning and cleansing of our minds. And that really comes around to just trying to be neighborly, I guess. That's a good way to put it. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and call this a done deal here, and we're going to get off. Like I said, though, go ahead and get out in touch with us. If you're interested in services, we'd love to talk to you about that and how we can get that going when you're ready. You can go to our website and get a instant quote. You can go there, or you can go ahead and catch us on our Facebook messaging, and we've got an awesome Rosie, the chatbot. We've got her running there, so she'll be happy to answer your questions as best as she can, because, well, she's just simply programmed. Some things she doesn't understand. So with that, you guys take care and have a great Easter weekend, and we'll see you back.